Today on Public Eye News, Michigan Tech's Winter Carnival has come to a close and Bill Schuette is on the campaign trail in the UP.
Caleb Rydell will have details on the warm temperatures in our forecast, and Max Stevens has results from NMU's home hockey series. Hi, I'm Anthony Cilia.
And I'm Ryan Gooch, and welcome to Public Eye News. The Winter Carnival, put on by Michigan Technological University, officially ended this weekend with its closing ceremony, the Torchlight Run at Mount Ripley. After dark, the ski hill turned off its lights and skiers and snowboarders made their way down the mountain holding torches to signal the end of Winter Carnival. All those participating gave a final salute, then the cities of Houghton and Hancock were entertained with a wonderful fireworks show. Michigan Tech believes that this ceremony is the perfect way to end the event. A house fire in Trout Creek has taken the lives of 2 people over the weekend. Deputies were dispatched to the home on Old Milltown Road at around 6:30 in the morning on Sunday. The home was occupied by a 48-year-old man and a 6-year-old boy. The house was a total loss from the fire, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation. The names of the 2 victims are being withheld at this time pending notification. The Ontonagon Sheriff's Department was assisted by the Trout Creek and Duncan County Volunteer Fire Departments, as well as Michigan State Troopers.
And the AARP is lending a hand for filing taxes every Tuesday and Friday from February until the last Friday in April. The branch is set up in Marquette Senior Center below City Hall and is offering assistance with state and federal tax returns free of charge. Richard Britch, a local coordinator, says, quote, "We try to target low to moderate income with special interest to 50 and above, but anybody is welcome to come here providing they have a need for the service and are low to moderate income," end quote. There are locations all across Upper Michigan, including Gwinn, Munising, and Newberry. And Bill Schuette, Michigan Attorney General and Republican candidate for governor, did a sweep through the Upper Peninsula this past weekend, including a stop at Bessie Forest Products in Gladstone on Friday. Schuette says that Michigan needs to be a state that competes with other states across the country in terms of jobs and paychecks. He intends to be Michigan's jobs governor and states that Michigan needs to boost employment in order to quote-unquote win. He also commented on several local issues and need to roll back income on a state level and brought up the nationwide opioid crisis. He says, quote, "You can't arrest your way out of this. You need to make sure you have a balance between cracking down and education and public awareness and treatment for those who are trying to overcome this addiction," end quote.
At the Continental Cup on Saturday, Republican State Representative Beau Lefebvre announced his re-election for state representative. He made his official announcement saying, quote, "I want one more term at this thing. I'm announcing my re-election for state representative, and I'll ask that you'll join me," end quote. Lefebvre was joined at the ceremony by Michigan Attorney General Bill Schuette, Senator Tom Casperson, and former state representative Ed McBroom. Before making his announcement, Lefebvre spoke about unemployment insurance issues and his desire to protect the rights of gun owners if he is to be re-elected. A group from Michigan is hoping to raise $350,000 this year to go towards a monument to honor law enforcement officers that have fallen in the line of duty. A report from the Lansing State Journal says that the Michigan Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Monument Commission has been raising money since 2005. The fund is up to about $1.2 million, with about $400,000 of that being donations and $800,000 of that coming from a matching grant the legislature that is set to expire in October. More than 40 law enforcement officers that have passed away in the last 12 years would be honored by this memorial. And after the break, we'll be back with your national and international news.
On American Experience.
There's pandemonium everywhere.
People fled work and they saw basically a war zone.
Thousands of people were detained. It sent a real terrifying message through the immigrant community.
Are these people really a threat or are they not a threat, and how are we going to assess that?
The Bombing of Wall Street on American Experience.
Tuesday night at 9 after We'll Meet Again.
And welcome back. This year's flu is hitting harder than usual and is on track for becoming the worst recorded flu season in recent history. It already has the highest rate of hospitalizations than any other year and has claimed the lives of at least 63 children. This year we are finding that contracting the virus is easier than initially thought. According to the CDCI, you can get it simply by breathing the air of an infected person. The flu particles put into the air just by breathing alone can stay in the air for minutes to even hours. And President Trump delivered his plans for a 2019 budget to Capitol Hill this morning, and he's moving ahead with a $1.5 trillion infrastructure plan that will be paid for mostly by states, local communities. Mola Lenghi has more details from the White House.
Boxes of the president's proposed 2019 budget arrived on Capitol Hill and were unveiled for the press early this morning. The $4 trillion budget proposal isn't expected to go far because it projects a $1 trillion deficit. Conservatives on Capitol Hill aren't likely to vote for that, especially after last week's 2018 budget deal added to the deficit.
When you look at $300 billion over a 10-year period, you know, it makes even a drunken sailor blush.
The budget includes $17 billion to fight the opioid epidemic and $23 billion for border security, most of which will go for the border wall. The president's own budget director admitted on Face the Nation conservatives may not like it.
Congressman Mick Mulvaney, would he have voted for this?
Oh, probably not, but keep in mind, I'm not Congressman Mick Mulvaney anymore.
The president is moving ahead today with plans for another major electoral issue, fixing America's roads and bridges.
We will build, we will maintain, and the vast majority of Americans want to see us take care of our infrastructure.
The president is calling for $200 billion in federal spending as part of a $1.5 trillion plan. But most of that is coming from state and local governments and private investments. Mola Lenghi, CBS News, the White House.
And following the fall of Rob Porter, a senior aide who resigned after his two ex-wives both came forward with allegations accusing him of abuse, the White House was on the defensive on Sunday. Several of the White House senior aides took to many different talk shows to defend Donald Trump's conflicting comments about the situation. Trump has yet to come forward with a sympathetic word to the victims who claimed to have been abused. Kellyanne Conway responded to the situation saying, quote, "The president believes you have to consider all sides. He has said this in the past about incidents that relate to him as well. The result is that Rob Porter is no longer the staff secretary," end quote. On Saturday, Trump took to Twitter saying, "Lives are being shattered and destroyed by a mere allegation." And Russian investigators say it could take a week to recover the remains of all 71 people who died in a plane crash near Moscow on Sunday. As Roxana Cerberry reports from London, authorities say they're still looking for a cause.
Fragments of the Russian plane scattered across a snowy field southeast of Moscow. Russian officials say all 65 passengers and 6 crew members on board died. Flight 703 took off from Moscow's Domodedово airport on Sunday afternoon. It was heading to the city of Orsk in central Russia. But minutes later, the aircraft disappeared from radar screens and went down about 25 miles from the airport. This witness described hearing an explosion that made his house tremble. Another said she saw shattered body parts in the field and no survivors. Most of the victims were reportedly from the Orsk region. One was Swiss. At the local airport, relatives sobbed and paced as news of the crash spread. Russian media say the airliner had been flying since 2010 with a 2-year break because of a shortage of parts. But a spokeswoman for Russia's Saratov Airlines, which operated the plane, said there were no concerns about its condition. Russia's aviation safety record was poor in the 1990s and into the 2000s, but has improved in recent years. Russia's transport ministry says it's looking into several possible causes for Sunday's crash, including bad weather and human error. Russian investigators say the crew on the flight did not report any technical problems before the crash. The mayor of Orsk, where the plane was heading, says Monday will be a day of mourning throughout the region. Roxana Saberi, CBS News, London.
And after the break, we'll be back with your weather and sports. Stay tuned.
The first place that the Acadians came to in Louisiana was called La Poste des Attakapas because of the Native American tribe that were in the area. And this place is called the Attakapas Prairie, motivated by this idea of creating a production which would tell the story of the Cajun people.
Wednesday afternoon at 2 after American Experience on Public TV 13.
Welcome back. I'm Caleb Rydell, going to be taking you through your weather for today. As you can see behind me, we got some sun glazing over the NMU campus, ready to melt out some of that snow. It's going to be a little bit warmer coming up this week. All right, taking a look at our current conditions, it's looking cloudy outside with a temperature of 18, winds out of the north-northwest at 7 miles per hour, and a barometric pressure of 30.73 inches and rising. Taking a look at tonight, we're going to see partly cloudy. You're going to be able to see the moon tonight with a low of 3, winds out of the southwest at 7 miles per hour. And taking a look at tomorrow, we're going to see some clouds out there with a high of 29, winds out of the south-southwest at 18 miles per hour. Now, taking a look across the UP, we're going to see a lot of sun and then a little bit of snow up in Sault Ste. Marie with 16 degrees. Over in Manistee, partly cloudy with 17 degrees. Right here in Escanaba, 19, and down in Menominee, 15. Taking a look at the western half of the UP, we're going to see Iron Mountain with 16, Ironwood with 7, up in Keweenaw-Houghton, 9, partly cloudy, and back here in Marquette, 18 degrees and cloudy. Taking a look ahead, we are going to see Wednesday, we have a high of 42, a low of 27. That's going to be close to a near record. Coming up here with sunny. Thursday, high of 29, low of 7, and some snow. Friday, high of 16, a low of 8, and some clouds. Well, Max, we got some sun shining out across the UP, and I heard this weekend we had the NMU hockey team that was definitely shining.
Absolutely, and boy, was it a sight to see, Caleb. Our NMU Wildcat hockey team was victorious over the weekend, sweeping Alaska Fairbanks. The Wildcats won an overtime thriller on Friday, 2-1, as junior Denver Pierce buried the game winner after only a minute and 6 seconds had ticked off the clock in the extra period. The Wildcats finished the sweep Saturday night with a 4-1 victory, their 8th consecutive home ice win. With the wins, the Wildcats cling to their first place standing in the WCHA, leading Minnesota State by a single point. The Wildcats have an off weekend coming, after which they'll be finishing the season with a home-and-home series with rival Michigan Tech. And after Josh McDaniels decided not to accept the Indianapolis Colts head coaching job last week, the Colts have now named Philadelphia Eagles offensive coordinator Frank Reich as their new head coach. Reich will receive a 5-year deal after spending the past 2 seasons as the Eagles OC and previously the San Diego Chargers offensive coordinator. The Colts are coming off a 4-12 season, possess $85 million in cap space, and the 3rd overall pick in this year's NFL draft to bolster their roster, as they hope to have franchise quarterback Andrew Luck return for a better season. And last night, the Boston Celtics retired Paul Pierce's number 34 following the team's 121-99 loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Pierce's number 34 is the 22nd jersey to be retired by the Celtics, and his jersey joins Hall of Famers like Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish. Legends of the franchise rival Los Angeles Lakers, Magic Johnson, and Kobe Bryant sent video tributes that played during an in-game video. Present at the ceremony were many of Pierce's former teammates, including Kevin Garnett, Rajon Rondo, and Brian Scalabrine. Former coach Doc Rivers was present as well. Pierce played 15 seasons for the Celtics, helping them win the 2008 NBA championship, and Pierce is very likely to be a Hall of Famer when he becomes eligible. Well, Anthony, you may say the Wildcats metaphorically punched the Bears, that is Alaska, their mascot, and I hear you have something on a man who did something similar.
Oh, I absolutely do. Now, last week, a bear in Maine was attacked actually a man and his dog, and it was the wrong dog to be attacked. The owner, Dustin Gray, was walking his 11-month-old puppy when they were walking through the woods, and a bear attacked them. The 6'5" Gray claimed to have punched and kicked the bear until it had fled the scene. The man only had scratches and bruises, but his dog is actually being treated for severe puncture wounds, which is pretty sad. But that is all the time we have for you today, so please tune in next time, and we hope to see you soon.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.